G'day guys, Seeney here and welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth channel. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you how I'm about to buy 2 properties completely for free. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people so people can become more financially literate. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about some strategies and different things that I've done. So I've been able to purchase a property with none of my own money, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. And it's not just one property, it's 2 properties. So of course, anything I say in this video is not financial advice. This is just for education purposes, so you can get some ideas of different strategies. Before you do anything like this, it's really important to talk to a professional and to take into account your own financial circumstances, because the way I'm doing this, there is a little bit more of a risk involved, but of course, higher risk, higher reward. So let's delve into it. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the 2 properties that I am purchasing, and then we're going to go into how I actually am doing this with none of my own money. And these are 2 properties that are cash flow positive. So the second I purchase them, they're going to be making me a rental return. And this rental return is significantly higher than the mortgage repayments that I'll be paying for holding the property. So I'm getting 2 properties basically for free that are going to be paying me to own them. So it's a pretty interesting concept when you think about it that way. So I'm going to start with the properties first. So I have 2 properties that are under contract now at this point. And what under contract means is that the sellers have given me the contract, I have signed the contract and it's been sent back. It's under contract. All that is left to do now is pay deposits and proceed to settlement. So we are in the process of making sure that our finance has its T's crossed and its I's dotted, all of that sort of thing. So the first property that we have is in Adelaide. So we wanted to diversify our property portfolio a little bit more because we obviously have our house here in Sydney and we have an investment property in Brisbane, but we want to make sure we have exposure to a few other cities in case one city's performing really well, another one's not doing so well and vice versa. There's a little bit more diversification, which means a little bit more safety because different cities rely on different industries. South Australia, for example, has a lot to do with defence and a few other things on top of that as well, whereas Queensland is much more around tourism. So they're kind of the 2 main ones. Obviously, they have a lot more industry than that, but just as an idea. So the first property that we have is in Adelaide. Now, this is a property that is costing us about $407,000. Once it's completely built, we're buying the land and then building a house on top of that. So we're only paying stamp duty on the land, which is fantastic. So this is a property that is going to rent for about $400 a week. By the time it's completed, it might even be a little bit more than that because the rental vacancies in this particular area of Adelaide are very low. We've seen a lot of growth in Adelaide. I personally believe that that is going to continue. We saw just this month, Adelaide is up 2.4% in our property prices, which is fantastic. I personally believe there and also in Brisbane are going to continue to run because we're not hitting the affordability cap that we have seen here in Sydney and Melbourne, where property is significantly more expensive. So a lot of people are also leaving Sydney and Melbourne to go to some of the other cities. For example, Brisbane and even Adelaide has had net positive migration as well. So there's going to be a lot more demand for properties going forward in these particular areas. So this is one that's cash flow positive and is going to continue to grow for us. So $407,000 is the purchase price of that one. The second property is a 3-bed townhouse, which is up in Queensland, in particular Ipswich. So this is one that we recently got access to because someone's finance had actually fallen through. So this was a contract from months and months ago when prices were a little bit cheaper. So by walking into this deal with the amount that property prices have moved over the last 8-9 months or so, it means we're walking into about 50 grand's worth of equity. So this is one that came up pretty recently. And when you see these opportunities come up, it's really important to jump. I was only expecting to be buying one property over this first half of the year, but of course that looks like it's turning into two, obviously pending our finance going through and there being no problems with that. So this particular property is $460,000. That is the contract price that we are paying for this property. So now you might be wondering, how is it that I'm getting these properties for free? How is it that I'm doing it without putting any of my own money down? Now, this is a bit of an interesting concept, which some people may know about and some people might not be. This relies on people having properties previously. Okay, so this is only going to work if you have a property or two already. Now, what we've seen in the last 2 years is that property has just gone absolutely crazy. We've seen a 30% upward move in property in Brisbane and a very similar move in Sydney. It's just been absolutely insane. So as a result, property values have gone up significantly. Our house in Sydney's gone up. Our house that we already have in Brisbane has gone up dramatically. And what this means is that we have a great deal of equity. Even knowing that we have an interest-only loan on our Brisbane property, we have a great deal of equity that has grown in the property purely because property values have gone up so much. So what we've done is a technique called a cash out refinance. Because our property in Sydney has gone up so much, it's allowed us to pull out $87,000 of money from the property that we can use to go and invest. So it's completely tax-free cash money that we can go to use and invest. Of course, there is an interest rate attached to this at 2.5% for this amount of money. But of course, with inflation being at 3.5%, it's literally free money when you factor that in. Of course, there's an interest repayment that goes along with that, but with inflation where it is, you're getting paid to borrow money. Really, it's that simple. So we've been able to pull that out, and we're using that cash to go and invest in our Adelaide property that is about to be completely done and underway. Now, when this other deal has come along up in Ipswich, we have decided to do the same thing with our Queensland property. So when we bought our Queensland property, the price was $547,000. Now, because the market in Brisbane has moved so insanely high, that property is valued anywhere from $700,000 to $750,000. So even with a conservative valuation of $650,000, that's a fair chunk more money that we're going to be able to pull out of that property. So this is money that we can pull out of that property and we can use to put down a deposit on another property and obviously get the remainder of that property financed through the same bank or a different bank. So basically what this means is that we're financing both of these properties entirely from equity from our own portfolio already. So this means that I'm buying two properties with none of my own money down. This is money that has just come from the growth in our properties. And of course, the last 2 years has been insane for that. But the important thing to note when you're doing this strategy is that you are paying a little bit more interest because you are putting less of your money in the deal. When you are making a deal and you're using other people's money entirely, obviously there's going to be more interest repayments attached to that. So it's important, if you are using this strategy, that the properties need to be in an area that has a low rental vacancy so that you're basically guaranteed to get a tenant very quickly. And of course, on top of that, they need to be cash flow positive. So you need to make sure that the rentals on these properties are going to be outweighing any of the mortgage costs. That includes not only the main one, when you lever 90 or 80%, whatever it is that you decide to do, that it completely covers that, but also the cash out refinance from the other property. So, that's like an extra $200 or $300 a month, depending on what the interest rate is. So that is how I have managed to get two properties under contract, which we'll be going through and we'll be buying them completely with none of our own money. So it's a very interesting strategy. I'm not sure if you guys were familiar with this one, but I think it's very powerful to growing a property portfolio really quickly, because that really is the name of the game. You know, the sooner you can get in, then that usually leads to greater results, especially if you're holding for the long term. So of course, you know, you have to do your own research. You can't just be going and buying dog crap because, you know, someone said it is. You know, you need to have a look at a lot of different metrics, such as the rental vacancy, the population growth in the area, what industry is in there, what's expected going forward, infrastructure. There's a lot of different things to look at when it comes to buying an investment property. So thank you guys so much for watching. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about this strategy. If you want to get yourself a free stock, I've got a link to Stake in the description. If you sign up for the brokerage, chuck some money in, they'll give you a stock for free, which is fantastic. And if you want to track your net worth and see how you're progressing over time, I also have a link to WeMoney. And you connect one of your accounts, they'll give you $5. And that's how I track my net worth over time, and I can track the growth of my properties through that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It's going to be a great year. I had a goal to buy 2 properties. I just didn't realize it was going to be happening so early in the year, but here we are. When these deals come, you need to take advantage of them. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, very important, and we'll see you later.